gang stalking. Police, firemen, EMS, ambulance drivers, security guards, citizen vigilantes using red cars, red trucks, wearing or carrying red, probably our neighborhood watch groups, are gang stalking average citizens 24/7 for years. What is government gang stalking? The definition given to a newswoman of the Central Coast News, KCBA.com, was, and this was actually given by law enforcement, gang stalking is when multiple people organized to systematically stalk and harass a person, whether emotionally or physically. The tactic they are using is called mobbing, gang stalking. It's discussed in a new book published by Oxford University Press, Mobbing, Causes, Consequences, and Solutions, by Maureen Duffy and Len Sperry. Our government did something similar to government gang stalking before. It was called the American Protective League, and you can look up the American Protective League by Googling it or looking in Wikipedia. This is from the ACLU. The bad news is police abuse is a serious problem. It has a long history, and it seems to defy all attempts at eradication. We've seen red squads in America before. From the May 8th, 2006 print edition of U.S. News and World Report. Starting in the 1970s, lawsuits and grand jury investigations uncovered all sorts of abuse by these units: illegal spying, burglaries, beatings, unwarranted raids, the spreading of disinformation. Americans engaged in constitutionally protected free speech were routinely photographed, wiretapped, and harassed, all in the name of national security. We know what the ACLU says law enforcement is doing today. Unfortunately, it appears that these old tendencies have once again come to the fore. Law enforcement agencies across America continue to monitor and harass groups and individuals for doing little more than peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. A thorough search and review of news accounts by the ACLU reveals that these law enforcement behaviors have taken place in at least 36 states plus the District of Columbia in recent years. Americans have been put under surveillance or harassed by the police for just deciding to organize, march, protest, espouse unusual viewpoints, and engage in normal, innocuous behaviors such as writing notes or taking photographs in public. You can Google Justice Department won't reveal when it subjects citizens to tracking. What we are seeing is reminiscent of the blacklists of the McCarthy era, red squads, and COINTELPRO. President Bush rescinded anti-COINTELPRO legislation. President Obama's Attorney General hasn't written new guidelines for the FBI, opening the door for what we are seeing today. President Bush and Operation TIPS tried to get neighborhood watch groups involved in the war on terror. What we are seeing is their involvement in government gang stalking that has nothing to do with terrorism, but rather is an egregious abuse of government power. Neighborhood watch group members are using red cars, red trucks, wearing or carrying red, engaging in the FBI tactic of conspicuous surveillance, probably using GPS in their 24/7 unremitting harassment surveillance of citizens. We have never seen such unremitting harassment in the history of our country. Today, in government gang stalking, they get citizen vigilantes, neighborhood watch group members, to use red cars, red trucks, to wear or carry red in conspicuous surveillance of their targets throughout the day for years. They cause distracted driving, pulling out of alleys along the side of the target, riding in front of, in back of, behind the target. They're there at intersections. They walk along the route of the target. They cross in front of her. When she reaches her destination, they are there at her entries and exits. They walk in front of the target, in back of the target, parallel parallel to the target on the street. They learn her patterns. They are there when the target arrives at typical destinations. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer told Judge Napolitano on Freedom Watch, our government was using neuro-linguistic programming in its psych ops program. Members of the House Intelligence Committee need to ask why firemen who gang stalk took workshops in NLP that teaches anchoring after 9/11. The NLP tactic being used on citizens, the core of government gang stalking, is anchoring. The most frequent anchor used is the color red. Gang stalkers use red cars, red trucks, wear or carry red in government gang stalking. There is a website that explains this, nlp-mentor.com.